I'm starting. How about? Hello, everyone. Hope you all well.
Shalom, Rav. Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem. How are you?
Aleichem Shalom.
Hello, Rob.
How's it, Marky? How are you?
How are you, Rob?
Baruch Hashem. How are you all? Are you all ready?
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Remember, it's my dad's Yortzeit tonight.
Sure.
And if I can please remind you to say Kaddish for tomorrow, please.
Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm gonna.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna do it now.
I've organized with my daughter about your friend.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Hello, Dada. It's Ava.
Hello, Iva. How are you?
Hello, it's Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Fine. Right, how are you?
Baruch Hashem. I think that Le's going to give us the news on Eretz Israel, like we usually do, quick news.
Okay, wow. Thank you, Rav. No, Baruch Hashem, it's coming up with Shabbos, so what's nice is when you go downtown Yerushalayim, shops have started to open again, and people are getting a bit more positive.
Baruch Hashem.
That's Hashem. And then we had the secret meeting of Netanyahu went to Saudi Arabia, which is unthinkable that you'd have the Prime Minister of Israel landing in Saudi Arabia. It was secretive, but it became not so secretive. But it's miracles. We actually see miracles in our days. It's unbelievable. So, yeah.
Good. So, רבותיי, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח, השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, חיים לב בן שלמה זלמן, אסתר בת משה הלוי, והרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, our Rabbi Tenza. Please God that show will lift up the neshama, especially for Chaim Lev ben Shlomo Zalman, because that is Yortzeit, Shayom Yom Pkidat Shnato, and that will lift up, please God, to lift up their soul. Lerfuat Liora bat Miriam, Menashe Naji ben Farha, Yitzhak ben Tova, Avraham ben Marima, Dvora bat Esther, Golda, Itol bat Shulamit, Leah, who else I forgot? That's it. וכל שאר חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. We're going to start the parsha, but first we're going to introduce the parsha. I'm going to mute everyone, and we're going to start the show בעזרת השם. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. In the year 2184 for the creation, Yaakov Avinu going to the house of Lavan Arami. If you take the word Arami, turn it around, it will say Ramai. Ramai is a cheat, a person that cheat. So in the name Aramite, okay, if you change the word, okay, you can get the word cheat. That Lavan was a person that loved to cheat. He was the brother of his mother, Rivka. And that time, Yitzhak Avinu was in the age of 137. Rivka Imenu was in the age of 100. And what's happened here? Eliphaz, the son of Esav, chasing Yaakov Avinu to kill him because his father, Esav, told his son Eliphaz to go and kill Yaakov Avinu. Eliphaz was in the age of 13. Yaakov Avinu was in the age of 77 years old. Rachel and Leah in that time was in the age of 15. In the year 2186 years, Yaakov Avinu in the age of 79 start working in the house of Lavan. and in the merit of Yaakov Avinu, Lavan married to have boys. Until now, we have only girls. Now he married to have boys. Can you believe it? Not only that, one of them, according to one of the opinion, that one of the son was Bil'am HaRasha. Although there is a mahloket in the Mefarshim, one of them said no, Bil'am wasn't his son, Bil'am was Lavan HaArami himself. There is different mahloket between the commentaries, but vice versa, most of the commentary explain that, a matter of fact, Bil'am HaRasha was the son of Lavan, okay? And as long that Yaakov Avinu worked for Lavan, he became a very rich man. Yaakov Avinu brought prosperity to his house. Okay, in the year 2191 for the creation, Yaakov Avinu married Leah Imenu. 7 days later, after Sheva Yemei Mishteh, 7 brachot that they done, after 7 days, Yaakov Avinu married her sister Rachel. And after that, he married Zilpah, remember, and Bilhah. When Yaakov Avinu married Rachel and Leah, he was in the age of 84. Rachel and Leah was in the age of 22. Who was Zilpah and Bilhah? Zilpah and Bilhah was the 2 daughters of Lavan from his concubine. Remember, Zilpah and Leah was 2 sisters, but they wasn't from the same mother of Leah and Rachel. They was from a concubine. Now I'm going to speak about the birth of the 12 tribes, that where the Jewish nation start. In the year 2192, for the creation, Reuven born, and he lived to the age of 125. In the year 2193 for the creation, Shimon, the second child of Yaakov Avinu, born, and he lived to the age of 120. In the year 2194, Levy born, and he lived to the age of 137. He's the longest one that lived amongst the tribe. In the year 2195, here we see the 2 of the tribe born, Yehuda and Dan. Yehuda lived to the age of 119, while Dan lived to the age of 125. In the year 2197 for the creation, 3 of the tribe born, and they are Issachar, Gad, and Naphtali. Issachar lived to the age of 122, Gad to the age of 125, and Naphtali to the age of 133. In the year 2198, Asher born, and he lived to the age of 123. In the year 2199, 2 of the last tribe born, that Yosef and Zevulun, okay, because Binyamin wasn't there. So what happened? Yosef lived to the age of 110. Zevulun also lived to the age of 110. So that's the tribe, because Binyamin wasn't born yet. In the year 2205 for the creation, Yaakov Avinu sent his son Naphtali, and Naphtali going to call the wife. We'll explain what it means to go and call the wife. We'll explain just now in a shiur that, and telling Leah and Rachel and Zilpah and Bilhah and the other rest of the family to be ready, because they're going to escape from the house of Lavan. Yaakov Avinu in that age was an age of 97 years old, remember, and Rachel and Leah was in the age of 35. Yaakov Avinu and his family running away from Lavan. Lavan chased them. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu appeared to Lavan in his dream and warned them. You do not speak to Yaakov Avinu, not good and not bad. And the main reason that Lavan chased Yaakov Avinu and his family, because he was thinking that Yaakov Avinu is the one that stole these idols. And Hazal explained that night, that he left his house to chase Yaakov Avinu, because it took him 3 days to catch, it took him 1 day to catch him up. Robbers come to the house of Lavan and stole them. And that's what it said, Vayashov Lavan. What it means, Vayashov Lavan? Lavan returned to where he was before. He was a poor person. The prosperity came to him when? Dafka, when Yaakov walked into his house. So what do you learn from it? When a tzaddik comes to someone's house, he brings in prosperity to his house. Now we're going to start the parsha. Vayeitzei Yaakov mibe'er shava vayelech harana.
Okay. Yaakov departed from Beersheba and went towards Haran.
Okay. First of all, another explanation that I didn't explain here in introduction. This parsha called Parashas Tuma. What is Parashas Tuma? It's a blocked parsha. What is a block parsha? We have to understand, and why this parsha is a block. So first, let's explain what is a block parsha. A block parsha, it's a parsha that doesn't have space between the last verse of the previous parsha to the new parsha. The space has to be at least 9 letters. So in this parsha, there is no space between one to the other. And Hazal asks, okay, we understand, so it's a block parsha, but why is it a block parsha? We have to understand. So there's 2 different commentaries why Dafka it's a block parsha. So one of the explanations that when Esav wanted to kill Yaakov Avinu have to flee. And when he fled, he gone to the house of Shem Va'ever, to the yeshiva of Shem Va'ever, and he hid there. He been buried there. What does it mean being buried? He sit and study for 14 years. For 14 years, Yaakov Avinu, when he escaped from Esav, he hid in a place of Shem Va'ever. Another explanation that Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim, born in Germany 751 years ago, he explained like this, that the main reason that it's Parsha, you know why? Because when Yaakov Avinu have to run away, he have to hide. And if he have to hide, no one saw him. So it's blocked, something blocking, that period of time not been told, and that's why it's the Parashas Tuma. But now let's start with the Parsha. It says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mibe'er shava. If we take those 4 words and we look at the last letters of every word, we get a word that's called arba. Arba, it means 4. And many of the Mefarshim ask, what does it mean 4? Why dafka 4? So I saw a commentary that brought by the Gaon Hida. The Gaon Hida is Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai. Sorry, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai. He born in Jerusalem 296 years ago, and he said like this. He said that if you take those letters, you'll get Arba. What it mean Arba? It's to tell you here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already hinting to Yaakov Avinu, you're going to have 4 wives. That means that Yaakov Avinu will have 4 wives, and from the 4 wives, he will build Bnei Israel, the 12 tribes. So that's one explanation. Another explanation that the Gaon Hida bring, why Dafka 4? Because we know that Yaakov was Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. What it means, Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim? That Yaakov, his main business in life was studying Torah. And we know that in the Torah there is a pardes. What it means pardes? Pshat, remez, drash, sod. That means there is 4 things how to translate the Torah. These 4 things how to understand our holy Torah. He said that here it's hinting to us that Yaakov Avinu merit to get all of those 4. That means Yaakov Avinu merit to get Pshat, Remez, Drash, Sod on all the Torah he knew. And that's why it says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mi be'er shava. We get the last letters of every word, we get the word arba, to tell us that number 1, Yaakov, here they hinting to him that he'll have 4 wives. Number 2, that he will merit to get the pardes, the pshat, remesh, drash, sod. Okay. Rashi HaKadosh says something extraordinary. Rashi HaKadosh, just to give you again, he born in the city of Troyes in the north of France. He born 980 years ago. His name is Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki. And he said, it says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mi be'er shava. It says, why is it so important to tell us that Yaakov came out of Be'er Sheva, left Be'er Sheva? Why is it so important to us? So to answer that, Rashi brings different opinion that he explained many things that we explained in previous year. Yatsa Oda, Yatsa Adara, Yatsa Ziva, that when a tzaddik left the city, his glory, his, his holiness leave the city. But I saw a commentary of Rabbi Yosef Dov Halevi Soloveitchik. Rabbi Yosef Dov Halevi Soloveitchik, he born in Belarus 200 years ago. And in his book Bet Halevi, he wrote the book Bet Halevi, he explained that the main reason that the Torah tells us Vayeitzei Yaakov, Vayelech Harana, it's come to tell us something important. Usually when a person leaves a city, he lived because certain reason. Vayelech Harana, and he gone to Haran because he went to reach to his destination. Other people have a different reason. They want to reach to the distant. He said with Yaakov Avinu, it was 2 reasons why he left Be'er Sheva and why he have to go to Haran. The main reason that he left Be'er Sheva, that it was because Esav HaRasha, his brother, wanted to kill him. So he had to escape. Why? To save his life. Otherwise, Esav HaRasha will kill Yaakov, Has v'Shalom. So that's why he left. It says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mi be'er shava, okay? Vayelech Harana, why did he go to Haran? The second idea. Say Rabbi Yosef Dov Soloveitchik, that Yaakov have to, the second purpose that he have to go to Haran, because there he gonna meet the 4 mothers. There he gonna meet Rachel, and he gonna marry Rachel, Leah, Zilpah, and Bilhah, the 4 mothers. So when it says Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Be'er Sheva, Yaakov, the main reason that he have to leave Be'er Sheva, it's because of Esav HaRasha, that he have to escape. Vayelech Harana, that he been commanded to go to where? To go to marry the 4 mothers. Okay, so from here we see that it said that, why explain that? But I saw another commentary about the first verse. We can spend all night just on that verse to explain it. I'm going to bring another explanation, another commentary on that verse from Rabbi Levy mi Bardichov. Rabbi Levy mi Bardichov, born 280 years ago in the Ukraine, and in his book called Kedushat Levy, the holiness of the Levy, if you translate it, he said, why is it said Vayeitzei Yaakov? It should say Vayered Yaakov. We know that the person that leaves Eretz Israel, it's considered Yerida. Vayered, Yored mi Eretz Israel. Like he left Eretz Israel. But here it says Vayeitzei Yaakov. Yaakov left Eretz Israel. So Rabbi Levy mi Bardichov explained like this. He explained that when Yaakov Avinu left Eretz Israel, what happened, Rashi HaKadosh tell us? Yatsa misham, pana ziva, pana adara. When Yaakov Avinu left Eretz Israel, the glory and the holiness that was in Eretz Israel, okay, walk with who? With Yaakov Avinu to Haran. And how do we know that? If you look at Rashi in verse 17, Rashi says something extraordinary. That Har Moriah, what does it mean Har Moriah? Har Moriah, it was Bet HaMikdash. He said that Har Moriah moved from Eretz Israel, moved to Haran. And Hazal say, therefore you can't say Vayered Yaakov. Why? Because the only reason that we say Vayered, that the person that leave Eretz Israel consider as Yerida, why is it considered Yerida? Because the holiness of Eretz Israel, not because Eretz Israel is very high above sea level. There's many other countries higher above sea level than Israel. No, when it say Yerida, you're going down, that the holiness, you're leaving the holiness of Eretz Israel and you go to the diaspora. And that's what it say when a person leaves the diaspora and going to Eretz Israel, or say Aliyah. What it mean Aliyah? He's uplifting himself towards the holiness of Eretz Israel. But in Yaakov Avinu's case, it's not belong, because the holiness left with Yaakov Avinu, as Rashi explained. The holiness himself in Har Moriah, where is Bet HaMikdash, going to be built in the future, left with him and gone to Haran. And that's what it says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Be'er Shava vayelech Harana. Okay. In verse, we'll see something very interesting in verse 13 and in verse 14. No, in verse 12 and in verse 13. What does it say there? Look what it says. Vayahalom, והנה סולם מוצב ארצה, וראשו מגיע השמיימה. והנה מלאכי אלוהים עולים ויורדים בו. verse 13, והנה אדוני ניצב עליו, ויאמר, אני אדוני אלוהי אברהם אביך ואלוהי יצחק, הארץ אשר אתה שוכב עליה, לך אתנה ולזרעך.
And he dreamt, and behold, a ladder was set earthward, and its top reached heavenward. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, Hashem was standing over him, and he said, I am Hashem, God of Abraham, your father, the God of Yitzchak, and the ground on which you are lying, to you will I give it, and to your descendants.
Okay. What's happening here? The Torah tells us that Yaakov Avinu have a dream, and he dreamed about angel going up and down the step ladder. Rashi HaKadosh bring that the angel of Eretz Israel that came to visit him, going down, going up. The angel of Chutz La'aretz that came to welcome him, going down. Okay, one idea. In previous year, we brought a different explanation. What it means, Malachi Elokim olim veyordim bo. The angel of HaKadosh Baruch Hu going up and down the step ladders. What's happening here? Yaakov Avinu, when he reached Har Moriah, that's Bet HaMikdash, where Bet HaMikdash, please God, gonna be built speedily in our day, he had a dream. And he saw that the angel going up and down. One of the ideas that we brought in previous year, that the angel saw that face of a human being that they recognize. And where did they recognize it? From the chair of glory. On a chair of glory, there is 4 images engraved. The mystical rabbi explained that there is a face of a lion, a face of a bull, a face of a nesher. Nesher is an eagle, and a face of a human being. And who's that face? The face of Yaakov Avinu. 4 different images. And when the angel gone down, they see the same image that there is in a chair of glory, lying where? On Bet HaMikdash, in Har Moriah. They wanted to harm him. So the angel going up and down, they say, we saw this face. They're going up to heaven to look at the chair of glory. They say, yes, that's the same human being. What a human being doing up in heaven, the same image here on earth, we're going to harm him. What does it say? Hashem nitzav alav. Hashem was stood to protect him from the angel. That's what idea that we brought in previous year. But also, a different commentary that I would like to share with you. And that commentary, it was from Rabbi Yaakov Haim Sofer. Rabbi Yaakov Haim Sofer, born 153 years ago, and he born in Baghdad in Iraq. He wrote the famous halacha book, Kaf HaChaim, that many people that start to become a rabbi study in that book. It's a book on halacha. And he explained the verse like this. What it means, Maleche Elokim Olim Ve'Yordim Bo, the angel of HaKadosh Baruch Hu going up and down on a step ladder. He explained like this. And he explains it according to the mystical idea. And he said like this. He said that every nation in the world have his own angel up in heaven, that he's in charge about this nation. Okay? And when the star lack of that angel actually coming up, that nation become very prosperable, very rich, very strong, they're in control. He said, what it mean, Olim Ve'Yordim Bo? Those angels, sometimes they go up, but when the star lack going down, they disappear out of the earth. Like we saw that happen with many of the countries, the Greek nation, the Greek nation, the Babylonian, the Egyptian, and etc. They all disappear. He said, that's what it means, Malche Elokim Olim Ve'Yordim Bo. But he said, Ve'Hashem Nitzav Alav, Hashem, he's the one that's in charge about the Jewish people. Bnei Israel doesn't have an angel in charge about them. Who's in charge about Bnei Israel? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means that the star lack of the Jewish people never end. So you're all going to ask inevitable question. Wait, Vachabiki. So how come we see that the Gentiles sometimes go against the Jewish people, like happened in the Spanish Inquisition, in Egypt, the Holocaust, and etc.? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu give those nations a permission to harm the Jewish people. The Mefarshim explains something extraordinary. That all depends on the Jewish people. If the Jewish people do averot, then they're giving a string to those nations. And those ministers of those nations, those angels, actually rising up. He said, but when the Jewish people doing mitzvot and they follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mitzvot, keeping Torah, they actually weaken those angels and they don't have any more, the star lack doesn't work. So it said, and that's what's happening in the world. When the Jewish people do mitzvot, no nation in the world can touch us. Because why? The Hashem Nitzav Alav. The Almighty is our God. He guards us. He's our guardian. No one can harm us. But Has v'Shalom, when we do averot, Umalche Elokim Olim Ve'Yordim Bo, we're giving them those kind of energy. Let's move on to chapter 29. In verse 6, I'm gonna jumping now because this parsha is a long parsha, and we have to, Be'ezrat Hashem, to try to explain as many more verses that we can on the parsha. In verse 6, it says something very interesting. Look what it said. Vayomer lahem hashalom lo, vayomru lo shalom, v'hineh Rachel bito ba'a im hatzon.
Then he said to them, is it well with him? They answered, it is well, and see, his daughter Rachel is coming with the flock.
What's happened here? Yaakov Avinu gone to the well, and on the well, he met the other shepherd, and he asked them, do you know Lavan Arami? They say, yes, we know him. Is he okay? He said, yes, he's okay. And a matter of fact, here's his daughter Rachel coming with the flock. That's what the Torah tells us. What's happening here? We have to understand, and many of the Mefarshim ask, tell me, is that derech eretz that a woman, okay, a young girl, should be amongst the men, amongst the shepherd? Is she going to be a shepherd? What derech eretz is it? How come that Lavan have to send a woman to be a shepherd? Why not his son? From here, said the Mefarshim, you learn something extraordinary. That Lavan Rasha never have son until Yaakov Avinu walked to his house. And where do we learn that? When do we learn that? in chapter 30, in verse 27, Lavan HaRasha said to Yaakov Avinu, Nihashti, agest, vayivarcheni, Hashem biglalcha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless me in the merit of you, say Lavan to Yaakov Avinu. Rashi HaKadosh explained in his commentary what it means bless me. Not only prosperity, he blessed me to have son in the merit of you. I know what I have son. Until now, until you came to my house, I never have son. I have only daughters. But now that you came to my house, I have son. So said the Mefarshim, until Yaakov Avinu came to Lavan, he have only daughters. So they used to do a turn, who's going to be the shepherd for that week, for that day, and take the flock, okay, to the well to give them water. By the way, just something for you to think. How many of our sages that we know make the shidduch by the well? We know it's Yitzhak Avinu that Avraham Avinu sent who? Eliezer, Eved Avraham, to go and find a wife to Yitzhak Avinu, Rivka, by the well. Yaakov Avinu met who? Rachel. Moshe Rabbeinu met who? Tzipporah, his wife. Tzipporah was the daughter of Yitro. So he also met his wife on a well. So from here you learn that three people, many more, but I'm talking about famous people that we know, that met their wife on a well. So now we can understand why Rachel was a shepherd and brought the flock, because Lavan didn't have kids. Okay, let's move to verse 14. And verse 14, we learn a different thing about Yaakov Avinu. ויאמר לו לבן, אך עצמי ובשרי אתה, וישב עמו חודש ימים.
Then Lavan said to him, nevertheless you are my flesh and blood, and he stayed with him a month's time.
Here, there is a very important thing that we learn. The Mefarshim explained what it means, Vayeshev imo chodesh yamim, and he sat with him 1 month. The Mefarshim explained that for the 20 years that Yaakov Avinu worked for Lavan, he lived only 1 month. Rabotai, listen to it carefully. 1 month with Lavan. All the other years and the other months, he lived 3 days walk away from Lavan. And the Mefarshim explain how come, why dafka 3 days. One explanation that Yaakov Avinu didn't want his children to be influenced by the grandfather. Who's our grandfather? Lavan HaRasha, the wicked Lavan. He didn't want them to have any influence, any contact with the grandfather. Other explanation, why dafka 3 days? Why dafka 3 days walk away from Lavan? Because we know that part of the deal Lavan and Yaakov have, that in the merit that Yaakov was working for Lavan, he'll pay him. How's he going to pay him? From the flock that's going to be born. What and what kind? It's a different story that we spoke in the past. But he explained why 3 days. That Yaakov Avinu will never say, that Lavan Avinu will never say to Yaakov Avinu, listen, some of my flock walk with you and I want them. So we know that the sheep, the goat, if they go lost, they can find themselves in a distance of 1 day. More than 1 day, they can't find back. So Yaakov Avinu took a measure, extra measure, 3 days walk away. So Lavan will never come with any excuse that maybe some of his sheep, some of his goats mix with Yaakov Avinu's goat. And that's why 3 days. So that's what it said, Vayeshev imo chodesh yamim. And all of those years that Yaakov Avinu was with Lavan, working for Lavan, he lived with him in his house for 1 month. That's all, for 20 years. Let's move now to chapter 30. And in chapter 30, verse 1, we see something extraordinary that I'm sure that when you read it, you'll have many questions and can ask, how can it be? It says like this, ותרא רחל כי לא ילדה ליעקב, ותקנא רחל באחותה, ותאמר ליעקב, הבה לי בנים, ואם אין מתה אנוכי.
Rachel saw that she had not borne children to Jacob. So Rachel became envious of her sister. She said to Yaakov, give me children, otherwise I'm dead.
Okay. In English, I see that the commentary, he didn't want to say it jealous. He didn't say jealous. He said envious. I don't know why it's different, but the Torah tells jealous. And the Mefarshim immediately ask, whoa, what's happening here? Rachel Imenu, jealous of a sister? We know that there is a negative command from the Torah, not from the Torah. Chazal tell us that it's not good to be jealous. הקנאה והשנאה מוציאים את האדם מן העולם. A person that is jealous causes the person to leave this world. Then in Masechet Avot, Chazal explain what it means מוציא את האדם מהעולם הזה ומהעולם הבא. There it's a big arichut. I don't want to go into it now. But Chazal ask, how can it be that a woman of a level of Rachel Imenu will be jealous of his sister? And let's ask another question. Rachel will be jealous of a sister. How can it be? Rachel Imenu given all the secret to Leah when Lavan swapped Leah with Rachel on the first night. So how can she be jealous? So Rashi actually brought something extraordinary. Rashi bring the Midrash Rabbah. Rashi bring that it's in Midrash Rabbah that the jealousy of Rachel was a good jealousy. What it means good jealousy? Where do we see it? So Hazal tell us that there is what it's called kinat sofrim. What it means kinat sofrim? Let me explain that and then I'll go back to Rachel and Leah. Hazal explained that there is what it's called kinat sofrim. When you see a righteous man, a scholar person, and you say to yourself, wow, look at that great man. I want to become like him. I'm jealous. I want to become like him. I want to do exactly what he become. I want to become a scholar person. I want to be a giant in Torah. I want to be a righteous. That's considered kinat sofrim, and that's allowed. Said the Midrash Rabbah, Rashi bring Midrash Rabbah, that when Rachel was jealous of Leah, she was jealous of her good deeds. Ve'ener Leah rakot, and the eyes of Leah was soft. What it means soft? Because she used to cry. Because it say, Hagdola labechor. The first one from the twin girl will be to the Bechor. Who's the Bechor? To Esav. Haktana lakatan. And the little one, Rachel, will be to Yaakov. When Leah heard that she was crying and davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to change that decree. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed the decree. Say Midrash Rabbah, here Rachel, when she saw that, how righteous was her sister, that she can change the decree, number one. And number two, that she'll have kids. And she doesn't have kids, Rachel. She was so jealous that she wanted to adopt those character traits, the good character trait that her sister Leah have, that she will merit to have kids. And that's what it say, that Vatekane Rachel Beleah. That kind of jealousy, it was a good jealousy, not Chas v'Shalom a jealousy. Listen, he have a very fancy house, he have a very fancy car, I want to be like him. No, that's a jealousy for material. Here we're talking about not physical, spiritual. Rachel was jealous of her sister. How did she manage to become such a righteous woman, to reach to such a higher level? She wanted to be like her. And that's what it said, Vatekane Rachel Beleah. Rashi bring the Midrash Rabbah. And that's how the Hazal in the Midrash Rabbah explained that the jealousy was for a good purpose. What it was the good purpose? To become righteous, and she will merit to have kids from it. Okay, let's move to verse 15. In chapter 30, verse 15, it says here something very interesting. Look what it says. ותאמר לה, המעט קחתך את אישי, ולקח גם את דודאי בני, ותאמר רחל, לכן ישכב עמך הלילה, תחת דודאי בנך.
But she said to her, was your taking my husband insignificant? And now to take even my son's Dudaim. Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with you tonight in return for your son's Dudaim.
What's happening here? First of all, let me explain. Reuven brought Dudaim. What is Dudaim? Mandrakes. We'll explain what's the secret behind the mandrakes. Why did Rachel wanted the mandrakes? So it says like this. When Reuven brought the mandrakes to Leah, Rachel saw it and she wanted it. So what did she say to Leah? Please, would you mind giving me those mandrakes? What did Leah say to her? Not enough that you took my husband, now you want to take the mandrakes of my son? And the Mefarshim say, there is a secret here that we can learn from it. And there is here drash, there is here sod, there is pshat, everything is here. What's happening here? The mystical rabbi explained that there is here also musar that we can learn. He said, number one, what it means that Rachel wanted the mandrakes? What is so special about the mandrakes? The Mefarshim explained that what's so special about the mandrakes, a mandrakes is an emelant to fall pregnant. A person that takes the mandrakes, a woman that takes mandrakes, can easily fall pregnant. And said the mystical rabbi, that's why Rachel wanted the mandrakes. And he said, but from here you learn a musar. Leah complained to Rachel, listen, not enough that you took my husband, now you want to take the mandrakes of my son? Rachel kept quiet, didn't answer. Rachel had a lot to answer. Rachel said, you have the right to talk. I've given you my husband. I've given you the secret, because when our father swapped you with me, Yaakov knew it. Yaakov given me a special secret sign to realize that I am Rachel and I'm not you. But I revealed it to you. I've given it to you. And you tell me that I took your husband? No, but she kept quiet. She said to her, you can have the husband. Hazal say, from here you learn something extraordinary. That the person that been embarrassed, person that been attacked by other people, and he have a lot to say, he can answer them. Rachel didn't answer. That person will merit to get to Gedula. That means he will be giant. And we know that Rachel become a giant. How do we know that? Hazal explained that the Jewish people will be redeemed in the merit of Rachel Imenu. Not in the merit of Avraham Avinu, not in the merit of Yitzhak Avinu, not in the merit of Yaakov Avinu, not in the merit of Leah, Zilpah, and Bilhah. No. Only Rachel Imenu. And if you see, where is Rachel Imenu buried? Bederech Bethlehem. What it mean Bederech Bethlehem? Vatikaver Rachel Bederech Bethlehem. What it mean Derech Bethlehem? Hazal explained for the world, for the future to come. Rachel Imenu knew that the Jewish people will sin and Beit HaMikdash is going to get destroyed. Every night at midnight, Hazal say, Rachel Imenu waking up, going up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and crying and screaming, when are you going to redeem my kids? HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised her, in a merit of you, I will redeem them. I will redeem them. And Hazal said, the mystical rabbi, that Rachel Imenu arguing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to redeem us already. And that's why she buried in Derech Bethlehem. Why Dafka Derech Bethlehem? the mystical rabbi explained what's happening at Bethlehem. The nation believed that who born there? You know who born there. He never born there, by the way. He born in Nazareth. We done a show about it. Okay? They said Dafka derech Bethlehem because all the evil forces, where does it come? From that church in Bethlehem. Rachel standing up to fight against the evil forces and bringing the Geula closer. Said the mystical rabbi, you learn something extraordinary from here. What do you learn? That the person that have a lot to say and he doesn't answer, he keep quiet, Akadosh Baruch Hu will bring him up. He will put his luck up. He will be the one that's going to grow to Gdula. He's the one that Akadosh Baruch Hu in the end will listen to him. He have the major power to resolve the situation. Like that is Rachel Imenu, that we're going to be redeemed, please God, and Bet HaMikdash going to be built in a merit of her. And that's what it say here. Vatomer la me'at kachtech ishi. Leah complaining to Rachel, Rachel keeping quiet. Not enough that you took my husband, now you want to take the mandrakes of my son? Rachel didn't answer. The only reason that she won the mandrakes, like we explained, because there is an element that when you eat or you taste from that dudaim, a woman can fall pregnant. And that was. So now we can understand why Rachel didn't answer Leah. Let's move on to chapter 31. In chapter 31, verse 37. And here we see something also very interesting that we try to understand together. We try to understand it together, Be'ezrat Hashem. ורחל לקחה את הטרפים ותשם בקר הגמל ותשב עליהם. וימשש לבן את כל האוהל ולא מצא.
Rav, I'm not with you. You
chapter
said
31, verse 34.
You said verse 37.
Sorry, 34.
Okay. Now Rachel had taken the trafim, put them in the camel's pack sack, and sat on them. Lavan rummaged through the whole tent and found nothing.
Okay. Here we have to understand what's happened. When Yaakov Avinu ran away from the house of Lavan, Rachel Imenu stole the idols. And where did she put it? In a cushion that she used to sit on the camel, what it's called like the holster, okay? That you put the holster on top of the horse, you know? She have a cushion in the olden days, they have cushion, and she sat on it. That was the camel holster. Okay. In the pshat of the Dvarim, we have to understand why Rachel took it. On the pshat of the Dvarim, because she wanted the father not to worship any more idols, so she stole it. That's on pshat of the Dvarim if we look. But what is what's hiding behind it? Rachel say to Lavan, a corn stood up. Why she couldn't stood up? Because she said to her father, it was a cycle of the months. So her father didn't bother her. Why? Because many women during the cycle of the months not feeling so great. Sometimes it's very painful. So what happened there? He didn't start looking inside the cushion that was inside the camel. So he left her. But look what the Torah tells us. The Torah tells us, Vateshev. What it means, Vateshev? Okay? Vateshev aleim. And Rachel sit on him. Why does the Torah have to tell us specifically that Rachel sit on him? So the Midrash Tanhuma explains something extraordinary. The Midrash Tanhuma explained that in their time, by the way, Midrash Tanhuma been written by Rabbi Tanhuma during the time of the sages. And when he wrote this Midrash, he explained that in their time, the evil inclination to worship idol was so strong, that people used to worship idols. And here Rachel Imenu taking the idols and basically stealing them. Why? The Midrash Tanhuma explained that the idols used to speak, used to have the power of speak. And Rachel didn't want the idol to reveal to Lavan Avinu, to Lavan Aramai, Lavan Arasha, that they are, Yaakov Avinu and his wife and his kids, running away from him. That's one explanation. Other explanation that the Mefarshim bring, that Rachel tried to hint to her father, listen, what kind of a God are you worshiping? A God that cannot protect himself? A God that cannot do anything? What kind of a God? Don't you understand that you have to chase after us, that you have to protect your own guys? It doesn't make sense. That's second opinion. But the mystical rabbi explains something extraordinary. And listen to that carefully and you'll understand. The mystical rabbi said, not for nothing, it says, Vayeitzei aleim. And Rachel sit on the idol. Why did she have to sit? Chazal explained that the idols, where did they get the energy? Where did they get the power? It says only when you respect them. Rachel, what did she do? She wanted to scorn, to embarrass the idols. What did she do? She sat on them, number one. Number two, when did she done it? When she was in a monthly cycle. Now, when she sit on those idols, she wanted to embarrass them. And when she embarrassed them, they didn't have any more the power of speech. Why? Because Rachel Imenu done everything in her power to try to destroy the evil forces. I saw a commentary that Rabbeinu Behaye. Listen to that. Rabbeinu Behaye, it was two different Rabbeinu Behaye. The difference between them was 2 years ago. The first Rabbeinu Behaye that all of you know is Rabbeinu Behaye Ibn Pakoda. He wrote the famous book, Chovat HaLevavot, the obligation of the heart. But there is another Rabbeinu Behaye, Rabbeinu Behaye Ben Asher. He wrote a commentary on the Torah. Both of them born in the city of Saragossa in Spain. The Rabbeinu Behaye Ben Asher born in the city of Saragossa in Spain 765 years ago. And on his commentary on the Torah, he explained, you know how those idols have these kind of forces, kind of energy to speak? How can the idol can speak suddenly? So he explained like this. He said, what did they used to do, those witchcrafters? They used to take a firstborn baby and they used to slaughter him. After they used to slaughter him, they used to put salt on his body with perfume. They used to pour different spices on him, okay? And they used to put them together. And they used to take a piece of gold, okay, and they used to engrave on that gold the name of the evil spirit, bad names, okay? That's what it says in Sefer Bereshit, ve'Avraham natan matanot lebnei hashfachot. What it was, the name, okay, he revealed the evil force's name. So those people that the witchcrafters write on a piece of gold-plated, the evil forces, they take that and they put it under the tongue of that person, and then they light candle to them and they hang him on a wall. And not only that, listen what they do. They light incense to him. And that person start talking. But what they do, they connect them to the evil forces like, who's speaking? The idols. So say Rabbeinu Behaye, that's how in the olden days, people used to see idols speaking. Where is it? explain Rabbi Behaya from the evil forces that they used to do. Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will merit us, that he will get rid from the Ruach HaTum'ah, ve'ya'avir Ruach HaTum'ah me'aretz. He will get rid of the evil forces from the earth. Will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day, and will merit all of us together to see Mashiach Tzidkenu and the building of Bet HaMikdash. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. Now I'm going to give time for question. If you have any question about the parsha, Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony.
Sure, Anthony.
It says, all right, thanks. It says, and he became frightened and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the abode of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Can you explain that, please?
What happened when Yaakov Avinu left Be'er Sheva? Hazal say, קפצה לו הדרך. מה זה קפצה לו הדרך? A miracle happened to him. The same day that he left, he arrived in Haran. Where is Haran? Haran is close in the border of Turkey and Kurdistan. It's at least a week walk, if not 2 weeks. But in the same day that's happened, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's happened? What has he done? HaKadosh Baruch Hu make a miracle that Yaakov Avinu arrived in the same day in Haran. Kafza lo haderech, Rashi say. And that, if you look, we explained in previous showing what happened. Yaakov Avinu said to the shepherd, why are you gathering your shepherd today so early? He said, don't worry. What happened yesterday, that the sun sunset earlier, it happened. It's not happened every day. It happened once. It's not winter yet. So it's come to tell you that Yaakov Avinu suddenly realized that so many miracles happened to him on one day. But why he was so afraid? He suddenly, when he saw the angels going up and down, he saw, Hazal say in Ruach HaKodesh, in the Holy Spirit, that revealed to him that here going to be built what? Bet HaMikdash. And if Bet HaMikdash going to be built, ve'azar lo yikanes elav, you can't enter, you can't walk into Bet HaMikdash. But he saw something else. Why he was afraid? Because he saw the destruction, the Mefarshim say. He saw the destruction of Bet HaMikdash. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question? Pleasure. Any other question? Guys, please ask question. Don't be shy. You know, it's time to ask question. You can ask. Maybe I didn't explain something properly, or maybe I skipped something. Please ask. Don't be shy. Norman, I see that you took your microphone. You want to ask. I didn't hear your voice for a long time.
No, that's why I just wanted to say hello. Shkoyach.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see you with us. It's always nice. It's always nice to see you. I tell you guys, I'm missing you all in shul. You know, I hope that, please God, soon we're all going to get together. You know what I'm saying? To see all of us together in shul. We can be again. Shorim, please God.
I hope so. I hope soon.
Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take this kind of a disease out of this earth. And not going to be any more danger to no human being.
Be'ezrat Hashem.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Rob, thank you very much. A wonderful share. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining us for the show. Hope that you enjoyed. Yes.
You know what, Rob, can I say something? You said about Israel. I forgot to mention a very important thing happened. Israel beat Scotland in the soccer.
Gee.
And if you think about little Israel beating Scotland, it was quite a big deal. Actually, it was. It's a phenomenal thing, you know.
Whoa.
Yes, what was the score?
I think it was 1-0, but we beat Scotland, and you know that was major because in Europe, Scotland is regarded as like one of the top teams. And for Israel to beat them, and it was an important game because we weren't relegated because of that, and Scotland didn't achieve, you know, going on to the next group, but it was quite amazing.
Where was it playing? In Israel or in Scotland?
Yeah, it was like last week, but it's quite a big deal.
No, I didn't see anything.
That's what we need, Dr. Lev, to give us all the news, all the good news that's happening.
All the best. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Everyone, to take the opportunity to wish our friend Mark a long life on the yahrzeit of his father tomorrow. Mark, we wish you a long life. May you never see any more sadness. Please, God, only happiness. Guys, to give you the opportunity to wish you all a good Shabbos. Please, God, it will be a peaceful Shabbos, a holy Shabbos. Enjoy your Shabbos, and we'll meet on Sunday for the fourth part of the show about the book of Yeshua. All the best. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Oh.